lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Harriet Allure, and if you have not yet subscribed or followed us on YouTube, please make sure that you do too. It's Mrs. Snare's mom of two. That way you can get as much tips and gists on just day-to-day life and things that people deal with in marriages and in relationships, and a bit of lifestyle really as well. So make sure that you go and subscribe and just click on the link above, and yeah, you will be in. Yes, so today we are going to build up on a topic that we spoke about last week regarding things that couples fight most about in marriages and relationships. Yeah, so a few of you sent in, some people sent in a few more tips and things that they argue and fight about in marriages, and I'm just willing to dish them out and see if it's also some of the things that you argue, and perhaps just give a bit of advice and better ways to deal with it or to navigate through this challenge, through this fight. Yes, and one of the things was actually chores. Boy oh boy, did I not know that people can actually argue and fight over something as small as chores. So to me, it might be something small, but to another couple, this might be the thing that is almost like a deal breaker, or something that they fight and argue about day in, day out. And we all know how exhausting it is to argue and fight over the same thing. Yeah, and when it comes to chores, I would say that I am, as a woman, I still feel like I do most of the chores, the tidying up the bed, making sure that everything is in place in the right corner. Yeah, as a woman, I still do most of that. And then there might be some women out there who may feel that that is not their role entirely. And somebody that is coming from an African background, I grew up where that was entirely the women's task. So, and it's different for every other woman out there. Somebody might have come from a background whereby it wasn't even the woman's task, you know, where it was shared, where both father and mother were sharing these chores together. So I would say that delegate. If you feel you cannot delegate these chores, and then break them down, you know. It may sound simple, but I can understand that indeed, even just breaking it down, it's probably something that you've tried and you still feel like it doesn't work. Yeah, break it down to a point where you say clearing the table is A's task, putting everything in the dishwash is B's task, making sure that there are no toys around, the tables are dusted, the plants are watered, everything are in place, the bed is laid, is probably A or B's task. So once you've laid it down and you've broken it down, that A, B, C, D does A, B, C, D, or does task A, you know, just under one person, then it's a lot easier that way. At my house, I still do most of the chores. Maybe perhaps this is also because my husband is the breadwinner, or he earns much more than I do. So then I don't feel obliged to, but I have more free time as compared to him. So then he must come home to a tidy house. He must come home to a house where there is no single toy on the ground where he's going to trip and fall. He must come home to be served almost. And people will not, most people, or some couples or some women may feel like this is not their role in a marriage. So it differs really. But I would say that the best way to manage chores is to divide them, you know, divide them, delegate, say, you know, as I've mentioned. That might just be the easiest way to handle task. Our little one is 2 and 8 months, and he already knows that his task in this house is to make sure that the dining table is cleared once we're done eating. So now it's cute and it's enjoyable, but I know, boy, that there's going to reach a time where he's going to say, you know, this is not my role, or because you're telling him to do it oftenly, and it's just human nature, yeah. So now once we're done with breakfast or dinner or lunch, the first thing, once he's cleared his plate, he's a big eater and he's such a good eater. He'll clear the table, then he say, mama, it's up, it's done, you know. Then he takes, probably your last piece of bacon is still there, and he's just going to take it into the sink. So divide these tasks to make the chores easier. And the other thing that couples fight about a lot is the issue of finances. And I cannot stress this enough. Any form of relationship, even with your kids, you're going to fight about finances. Some of these kids are going to say, yo, in my piggy bank, there was this much, because I've been noting it down, and now I found a small little hole somewhere, and it's, or my auntie gave me this much, and you only bought me like one pick and peel, and so where is the rest? So there's always going to be arguments, disagreements, and fights when it comes to finances. But when you are a married couple, it's bigger and it's a lot more. And I feel like fighting about finances in relationships is one of the most draining things, because it's repetitive. First of all, it never ends until you find that permanent solution. So if you are also coming from more of an interracial relationship, then you know that most of these marriages are more like based on 50-50. And if it's different for you, good for you, yeah? Because I am, as a disclaimer, this is more about my experiences and experiences of people that I have lived with or lived around, couples that have shared some of their experiences with me. So are there interracial relationships where it's a 50-50? Yes, totally. Are there those that are 50-50? Yes, they're also there. 40-50, 10, I don't know, yeah. It's also there, yeah. So there are some cultures and some races where they do not know what it's like to carry on the weight of an entire family. My husband comes from a very small family. I can count them literally here, including grandparents and grandkids and cousins as well. So he does not know the burden of having to take care of somebody else, of having to give money to plait somebody's hair. He does not know the burden of fueling somebody else's car. Yeah, but when you come from an African background, it is almost it's almost more like black tax, but this is a topic that I would like to carry on into our next podcast. It almost feels like black tax, that you're making your money as an African sibling to also take care of the other siblings that are younger, or the other cousins, or your parents as they grow older. Well, it's not in this case. So coming from a background where at the back of your mind you actually already know that black tax is there growing up, that you're going to be asked or tasked, to take care of a few cousins, then you know that it's easy for you to give that lending hand. But coming from a background where you haven't heard of that, it's new to you, it's strange, it's even much harder for you to come into a marriage, and the entire weight of this marriage, from housing to fuel, to just everything, to medicals, is dumped on you. And then your wife is just there. She makes money, but she's not contributing. So in order not to fight about finances in marriage, it's something that is between you two. Yeah, a couple has got to sit down together and break down honestly their honest earnings, at the end of the month or annually, and say that this is what I bring. I'm paid, so this is what I'll be putting on the table. And it is not fair that you leave all the finances in the household to just one partner, even if they're the breadwinner. There must be a way that you can contribute. And in our situation, in my marriage, what happens is that the smaller things like the power, the water bills, payment of the workers, payment of food as well, yeah, these are things, food, transport within the city, that is all on me. These are the things that I get to carry on. So you also feel worthy, at the end of the day, you sit back, you feel like you're also contributing to the family. You even almost feel like you're the primary parent. We argue about it a lot, but in a light-mannered in a joking way. So when it comes to finances, I would say that you've got to speak to your partner about it, see how best you navigate it. Will you be doing the 50-50, the 60-40, or perhaps the chores that you do in the house counts as well, yeah? So this is I think that was our very last one, and in our next podcast we'll be talking about how bad is the issue of black tax. Yo, if you're an African of African descent and race, then you know the amount of black tax that we have got to give back home. Yeah, see you guys next time, and just make sure to subscribe on our channel, and lots of love, lovelies. Bye bye.